Hello! So today I'm going to be talking about Kala by Colin Walsh, a debut novel that seemed to make a bit of a splash last year. I seem to be on a bit of a literary crime sort of thriller vibe at the moment. I have no idea why, it wasn't intentional, but it just sort of came to me. Because obviously I've just finished Kala, before that I read Penance, and I'm currently reading Notes on an Execution. So yeah, that's my thing at the moment. However, I don't exactly know why I'm on this literary crime thriller vibe. It's not exactly my go-to genre. It's not a genre that I absolutely adore. And Penance, which sort of kicked it all off, was good. Not great. So I don't know why, it just seems to have happened. Kala is an exploration of adolescence, marked by intricate character portrayals and a solid slow burn. Through the perspectives of three distinct voices, Walsh captures the complexities of teenage life, including its cruelty, self-absorption and vulnerabilities. Set against the backdrop of Kinlough in Ireland. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm probably not, dyslexic brain and all that. Well, the narrative unveils this town's hidden darkness, exposing themes of misogyny and brutality. The characters, the three perspectives we follow in this novel, well, two of them find themselves coming home after many, many years away. We have Joe, a renowned rock star, Helen, a freelance journalist, and Mush, a man who never left home. All three friends are haunted by the disappearance of their friend, Kala, who just vanished without a trace when they were teenagers. At the start of the book, remains are found, which could or could not be Kala's remains, and this kickstarts our narrative into play. Blending literary fiction with a mystery thriller, this novel is initially quite challenging to engage with due to its very slow pace. It is taking its time, letting you get to know the characters, letting you connect with them, understand their backstories. So to start with, this is much more of a literary novel with the sort of mystery very lightly burning in the background. But the narrative does eventually kick into gear, but it doesn't really matter too much because what I was loving so much about this book was its vivid descriptions of the town, of its characters, in its vibrant dialogue. Out of all the characters and the three perspectives that we follow, I found Mush the most endearing. He seems to have such an intricate and tangled web of relationships with people in the town and within his friendship group, and also looking at his friendship group, he is actually kind of the glue that holds them together. So enough of all that, let's dive straight into what did I like and what didn't I like. What I liked. I think Walsh expertly weaved together multiple timelines. This novel is jumping around all over the place between perspectives, but it's also jumping back and forwards in time. It's jumping between perspectives and then the memories of those, looking back in time. But it handles it all beautifully. It flows really, really well. And I would say the pacing is solid. But it is a slow burn and you cannot deny it. It is taking its time to let us get to know these characters and their backstories. And for anyone who wants to just sort of dive into the mystery and the thriller element of this novel, you're going to be disappointed because it takes quite a long time for those elements to really kick into gear. We have decent plotting all the way through, and I thought the writing was just excellent. Another particular highlight is the town of Kinlough, which was brought to life so vividly. The people, the locations, the feel, the atmosphere. I think Walsh has done all of these elements just really well. And my final like, and the thing that I think is strongest in this novel, is its rich characterizations of Joe, Mush and Helen. They were just brought to life wonderfully. What didn't I like? Well, seeming as this book is named Kala, that's the character I got to know the least. And I don't know if this was intentional or not, but considering the impact of Kala's disappearance has such an effect on our characters and how they live their lives and the ripples of what happens into the present, you would think the novel would give a bit more of a shit about its readers connecting to Kala, understanding Kala, liking Kala, disliking Kala, having any kind of opinion on Kala. But this novel, and I can't state this enough, really doesn't care about you connecting to Kala whatsoever. And maybe it's a choice. Maybe it's saying she's not important. It's her disappearance that is important. And it's the other characters we should be caring about because they're the ones we spend the most amount of time with. I get that. But for me, that's a big I mean, it's called Kala. I want to care about Kala. I want to care about why she disappeared. What happened to her? I want to really be invested and involved. And out of all the characters in this novel, she's the one I cared about the least. And now for my biggest dislike. And I think actually quite a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one, which is absolutely fine. But I thought that this novel did the blending of the kind of literary with the mystery thriller quite poorly. Significant developments only really start to happen, I would say, around like the 70-80% mark of this novel. So again, if you are in this for the kind of mystery that's sort of layered within it, it does drip feed it to you, but it gives you no major shifts until right up to the final act. And the shift in the final act is so significant that it felt incredibly unbalanced against the rest of the novel. It's quite melodramatic in its ending, which really doesn't suit the style and tone of everything else that was done really, really well. And this sort of shift in the final act, this kind of sudden ramp up and escalation that takes place, really makes it feel like the ending of this novel is incredibly rushed. Now, actually, when you think about it, plot-wise, narrative-wise, it does everything it needs to do. But because the rest of this 400-page novel spends so much time on the characters, it's such a slow burn. It's just letting us get to know them, get into their heads. To have that sudden sort of ramp up at the end makes it feel like the ending is really, really rushed and made me feel a little bit dissatisfied. Ultimately, this shift in the final act ruined this book for me a little bit. I thought all the way up until that part that this book was excellent, maybe even a little bit more than that. I was like, oh, I'm really, really enjoying this. I think that the writing is excellent. I think that the structuring is working really, really well. I think Walsh, for a debut novel, is crafting together the timelines and the multiple perspectives and the slow sort of build of those perspectives layering just wonderfully. And then this moment happened. And yeah, it kind of just sort of ruined it for me. But literary thrillers are hard. Getting that blend just right of spending enough time with the characters and diving into the characters and their sort of look on life and life in general, whilst also drip feeding and blending in a kind of mystery that keeps us really hooked and turning the page, it takes a lot of careful crafting to get that blend just right. And for a debut novel, actually, I think that you would read this and actually it's quite unbelievable that this is a debut novel. It is so self-assured, it is so confident, it is so well crafted and structured up until that final act that, yeah, you wouldn't believe you're reading a debut novel. So I don't want to sort of bash this too hard for its final act, because I think I'm going to read whatever Colin Walsh does next. I think he is a great writer. And literary thrillers are hard. I mean, it's very hard to get that blend right. I'm just thinking of some off the top of my head, like Secret History, I think does the blend really, really well. The Talented Mr. Ripley, I think does the blend really, really well, although probably leans more into the thrillery side. Enduring Love, I think sort of does that blend incredibly well. But I'm terrible at listing things off the top of my head. I have to sort of go away and sort of write these things out. But those are just a few examples of ones that I think actually get the blend quite right. But yeah, I mean, sorry, how many times can I say, but yeah. Anywho, I thought Kala was much stronger than the last literary crime sort of thrillery novel I read, Penance. So I'm going to give this one 3.5 stars out of 5. I thought it was very good. So a couple of questions for you. What are some of your favourite literary sort of crime thriller novels? What ones do you think get that blend of the kind of like the literary nature of the novel, the sort of the parts that are looking at like humanity and life and the world around us, whilst also feeding into the kind of like tension-filled sort of building dread of that mystery or that kind of thrillery aspect? Yeah, please let me know in the comments below some of your top hitters. And also, have you read this book and what did you think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Please let me know in the comments below. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you're well, hope you're enjoying whatever you might be reading, and I'll see you all on the next one.